do what I want. Candy paint with the white on top. Lambo.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Swiss Army Nerd Podcast. This is the sports special, and this is your host, John Sturgard, and my co-host,
Stephen Cockerham.
That's right, and it's the Cock and Rod Connection. We are back.
It's about time.
About goddamn time.
Been a while.
It has been too long. After a apparently self-exposed exile, we are back. So super happy to be back. We happen to be back in one of the most exciting times of the year, sports-wise. I think everyone loves the NBA playoffs. I know I do. So I'm very excited. We have so much to talk about. There's stuff that we NFL-wise that we missed and we want to talk about. We have some MMA stuff. We have NBA. We have a lot of wrestling. We have everything. So I'm super excited. So I guess we'll just... First things first. How have you been?
I've been good.
It's been like 2 months.
How have you been?
Good. Very good. Lost a bunch of weight. I'm feeling good. Went to a pretty sweet wedding in Michigan, which is a state, I found out.
Your favorite football team's from that state.
Yeah, I forget Detroit's not a state. But it was good. A good couple months. Very excited. Kind of sad that the NBA playoffs are going to go how they're going to go, but we'll get there. Glad you're doing good, and we'll just jump right into it. NFL talk. We're kind of in the off season, but there's plenty of NFL drama as always. They never cease to create drama, it seems.
Just real quick, Josh just said we started after 7.
Yes.
So I just got to throw that out there.
Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties as far as the new program and the fire alarm went off. So, hopefully everyone's okay. Anyway, let's get into it. The Steelers, they're rebuilding their team, so to speak, around Big Ben. Le'Veon's gone. He went to the Jets, there was controversy there. And
Big Baby Brown.
Yeah, AB went off to, what is it? Rikers Prison? No,
yeah,
Raiders. Oakland Raiders. The 3 Bs are done.
They're gone.
So it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of talk to see, Schuster's got to step up. He's going to be the number one receiver. There's a lot of beef between him and AB, which I don't think we got to talk about.
Nope.
I think AB is the biggest baby in the NFL. I don't...
It's either him or Antonio.
Yeah, or OBJ. I mean, OBJ's kind of a crybaby. I hope Smith steps up and outshines AB this year.
I think he will. He's got the talent. You've seen he's got flashes in the last couple of years that he can be a number one option, but with AB, the number one option, and honestly, Bell, I think, was the second option. Mm-hmm. So I honestly think he's going to have a great year. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to miss AB as much as AB thinks they're going to miss him. Don't get me wrong, AB, number one receiver in the league the last, 10 years or however long he's been playing.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, but he's had a Hall of Fame QB.
Yes, and great segue. I can't wait to see this because you're going from Big Ben, first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback that knows how to throw the ball, knows what he needs to do, to Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying Derek Carr is not going to be a good quarterback, but he is not.
I'm saying it right now.
He is not Ben Roethlisberger, and you saw moments on the field where AB was upset because Ben wasn't giving him the ball, or Ben would throw 2 horrible passes out of 100. Well, guess what? You're about to get a lot more.
Yeah, about 98. You're going to get 2 good passes. I can't wait, personally, to see AB. That's how you're going to find out if AB is good, right? Like, when Megatron was doing his thing in Detroit, and I'm not a big Megatron fan, but nobody could deny that the dude could play. You could have put anyone throwing to him, he would have made plays. Yeah. We don't know that with AB. AB's had a very lucky go at it, and now he's the number one option on a team that's rebuilding. If AB, everyone who says he's a Hall of Famer, this is going to prove it. So hopefully he just shows up and does the work. I think he is the pettiest player
absolutely.
In the NFL. Like, Big Ben came out and apologized with how things went, and he went on Twitter and was like, that's two-faced. Just accept the damn apology and move on. You're a grown man. He has kids. Yeah, I'm not an AB fan. I was glad to see him leave Pittsburgh. On to the next prima donna, Odell. Obviously, they made the Browns are They look nasty this year. Obviously,
They're nasty on paper, but we'll see what they can do. Like, they legitimately have a shot to win the North. If everything works out, like if they all mesh, Baker Mayfield doesn't have a sophomore slump, and he comes out there and slings it like he did last year. He did really well last year, and he didn't have half the weapons he has this year. So imagine if he comes out and doesn't have the sophomore slump and just plays like he played. They're easily a 10-11 win team.
I think so, 100%. I think also, because we're wrestling dorks, Stone Cold has personally endorsed Baker Mayfield, so he's already going to be a Hall of Famer. It's interesting. Odell's missing a lot of time. I guess he's missed like three-fourths of OTAs. I don't think that's a good sign. I think players who do that, it immediately isolates yourself. Like you that's all reps. You know, the more reps, anyone who's done any sport of any kind know the more reps you do, the better you are. He's missing 3/4 of the reps. Like, yeah, it's Odell. He can catch one-handed. He's a monster on the field. But he still has to know the plays. But, you know, maybe he's not happy as people think with the Browns. We did say when this all happened that it's possible that he asked for a trade already.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy that they traded him, but hopefully it's not a sign of things to come. But I swear some of these wide receivers just like being Terrell Owens. I swear. I just want to be the next one.
Which isn't a good thing.
No, it's not. But I don't... all the hype that the Browns have, I'm hoping that Odell's not the reason it blows up.
We'll see.
But, you know, if you're taking that bet, that's a pretty solid bet. So Peyton Manning is saying that he's constantly getting offers to do, like, commentary and all of that things. I don't know how I would feel about that. Have you ever heard Peyton talk? Like, I'm not making fun of it. I just don't know if I could listen to that for 65 minutes. Like, he has that southern drawl. It sounds like he's got molasses in his mouth. I don't know if that's a good look for commentary.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Peyton Manning is going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks to play the game. He's very knowledgeable of the game, and he would be great in the But I agree with you. Like, I just don't see it happening. He doesn't have that drawl for commentary. Like, people aren't going to... Like, look, Tony Romo last year in the playoffs, like... Everyone wanted to listen to him because I swear he called every play.
He's my favorite commentator by far.
And I don't think Peyton would be like that. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say he definitely wouldn't be. I don't know the guy. But we'll see. But we have our first question.
Yes.
Jeremiah wants to know, do you think Rosen is our guy in Miami? So Rosen got traded from the Cardinals to Miami when they picked up Kyler Murray.
I don't. I think... One, it's too early for me to say, but no, it's not. It's not your guy. I can say it confidently. There's some people that have it and there's some people that don't. To be a successful QB, you have to be so good and so intelligent, and I don't know if he's there yet. He doesn't really have a staff around him that I could be like, oh, he could grow. Like, Mahomes wouldn't be nearly as good as he is if it wasn't for... having his coach there. Why am I blanking? Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Andy Reid is a guru, so he was able to kind of be like, oh, you have all this talent, let's make it into even better talent. You know, let's improve it. I don't think Miami has that. Miami doesn't have a strong staff. That's one of their biggest issues. That's why they signed Ndamukong Suh for $250 million. Like, that same staff, that infrastructure is still there. Because of that, I just feel like he can't succeed. He can be as good as he wants, but...
I'm going to say... It's too early to tell. I don't think he got a fair shot in Arizona. He didn't get to play. He didn't play all 16 games in Arizona. I'm not going to sit there and say you have a good opportunity. Like, he worries me, but I'm not going to just throw him under the carpet yet. We'll see how he does with the new... Because let's face it, you hear it all the time. The worst thing that you could do in the offseason is fire your coach and get a new coach, because then you got to learn a whole new system, whole new playbook, all that stuff, and you're not getting that structure you need to become a good quarterback. So now he's got to learn a whole new offense, a whole new playbook, everything.
I agree.
So I'm not going to say no, like my co-host over here said.
I'm saying no.
But we'll see what happens, and fingers crossed if you're a Miami fan.
And another thing, too, man, is that team has to play the Pats twice a year, and that's... like, all jokes aside, like, when you play someone like Brady twice a year, like, I seriously feel like mentally that blocks some of these QBs. Like, that's Josh Allen's biggest thing, is that he's going to have to somehow try to beat Tom Brady, the GOAT, twice a year. Or twice this year.
Which hasn't happened since, like, 99.
No, it's just, like, that division is difficult to grow in. And Miami is just not a winning... I know they won in the 70s, but they're not a winning franchise. A lot of... Detroit's not. I think that says a lot. If you're not a franchise that's willing to devote and make changes, I think that's going to bleed into your quarterback. I think he's going to be able to make plays and win a few games, but he's not taking you anywhere. That's the measuring stick now, thanks to people like Brady. The measuring stick is playoffs and championships. Is he going to do that? Absolutely not. And he never will. I can honestly say that Miami's not going to see a ring for a long, long time, because they are the worst team in that division now, in my opinion. They are the worst team. They are last by far. I think the Jets have something, and the Bills have something, and obviously Brady's Brady and Belichick's Belichick. But Miami's the worst team in that division by far.
Basically, anyone that's in that division, any team that's not a Patriots, you basically got to sit back and wait for Brady to retire or hope for a wild card spot.
Something.
I'm sorry. I get it. There's a lot of Brady haters out there, and he's old and he's going to fall off the cliff. That man's not going to fall off the cliff. That man is going to retire when he can still probably get that team to the Super Bowl. He's just going to hang it up, even though I bet you one of his retirement speeches, I'm not doing it because I don't feel I can't play the game. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to come out there and be like, I could win another couple of championships, but what else do I have left to prove? Mm-hmm. And that's how his retirement speech is going to go.
It's true. I mean, he's already the GOAT. If he gets one more ring, it's just a joke. It's hard. It's hard to be like, this QB can develop, because, like, Stafford, one of the most talented QBs I've ever seen. And if you deny that, you're out of your mind. But the whole franchise didn't build and do the right thing, so it didn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. If the franchise isn't about winning, then you're not going to win, no matter how good you are. They pour money into the teams that are going to win. That's how it works. I don't think Dolphins that kind. I think they have fans, but it's not a town built for winning. Like, why do Boston franchises constantly win? Because the fan base pours money into championships. And it used to be the same way in LA with, like, the Lakers and even the Rams and things like that. If you don't pour money into a franchise, no matter how good your players are, it won't matter. Stafford's in a fantastic version of that. He might be a top 10 QB someday. Might be it now, but he doesn't have anything to show for it. So I say no, but we'll see. So Zeke got in a fight in Vegas. With his girlfriend. This is like the third or fourth time he's had issues off the field.
Negative media. Yep.
I mean, he is a Dallas player, so he's doing great there. But it does make you wonder, man. I don't know what the hell these guys are doing. I get it, they're kids. They're younger than us, and they have millions of dollars. But how is nobody sitting there going, what are you doing?
Well, I can tell you why he's not getting talked to, because the owner is Jerry Jones. He doesn't care what they do in the offseason, honestly.
The Vince McMahon of the NFL.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. Like, as long as you come to training camp and you come to the games and you play well, he doesn't care. Jerry Jones doesn't know how to run it. It's perfect. Jerry Jones, Vince McMahon. Same person. They don't care. They just want the money and the power. That's it.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. I think that... I don't know. I'm glad. I want the NFL to come down on people who are doing that, because so many people look up to them. Sports are the number one thing in this country that drives people. I love athletes. They inspire me. They inspire a lot of kids. If your player is Zeke and you're wearing his jersey on the back and then he beats up some chick in Vegas, which, again, it's hearsay right now, but that says something. You know what I mean? That puts something in your... kid's mind. So I'm glad that they're coming down. One last thing I have, unless you have anything else. Barkley came out, Saquon Barkley, and came out and said that Le'Veon sitting hurt the NFL. Completely agree. I couldn't agree more. What he did was selfish and stupid, and it just showed that he was immature. That's my opinion. If you have players that just sit because they are crying about their pay when they're getting paid millions of dollars, not a good look.
Agreed.
It does hurt.
Stop being a baby. They pay you for a reason. You might not be happy with the team. You might not be happy with your paycheck, but you know what? You're getting paid to play the game. Grow up. Get out there. As unhappy as you are, get up. Who likes getting up and going to work?
Right.
I can't really imagine playing football as work. I mean, I get it, but like, That's your job. Get up and go do your job. I don't care how unhappy you are. That's why there's an off season. Take care of that crap. You're ruining for the fans.
I just don't understand, like, I'll never understand the logic of sitting out. Not only did he lose a ton of money, but he lost a whole year of his career, especially when you're a running back. They play until, like, 27 is the average. Mm-hmm. He's already 28, I think. It's just silly. Make the money while you can. Play the game as long as you can, as hard as you can, for as far as you can, and then bounce. I don't know why people don't. I just don't get it. Like, how was nobody sitting? Yeah, you have a finite amount. Like, most people can't retire at 30. These people have that opportunity to do it. So him sitting, like, it was like, haha, like, laugh at you, Steelers. They still almost made the playoffs. They still did great. They're still going to be the Steelers. Rooney's still going to be Rooney. You didn't do anything. You just hurt yourself. I just think it's silly. Like, that nobody is sitting there going, Le'Veon, you know your plan is horrible, right? Like, nobody explained that to them. But I agree, it does hurt it. But I do like that another running back came out, especially a younger one, and was like, this hurt the team. This hurt the franchise. Like, I like that. Do you have anything else NFL-wise?
Nope.
I mean, right now we're getting geared up to for summer and stuff like that. So it's exciting. I do want to say, I think the Lions are going to do something special this year. This was the most active they've ever been, ever in an offseason, and everything I'm hearing from the top down is it's different than what it was. It's not just positive, but it's competitive. And I'm excited. If we're going to take this division, now's the chance. We have a small window. I think Rodgers is going to have a tough year with the new coach. And I think Minnesota has missed their window defensively. And I think Detroit's just kind of sitting there going. And Chicago is great. But I do think that what happened last year in Chicago, all that momentum that Mac brought, you're not going to get that this year.
I think Mac was on a high and wanted to prove a point. Now,
Yes.
I'm not saying he's not going to play at a high level. He's going to play at a high level. He's one of the best defensive players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think that was a straight screw you, John Gruden, look what you did type deal. And he's still going to play great. I still think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFL, but I don't see him being what he was last year.
Teams are going to have to stop him. So they're going to, if they have to quadruple team him, they will. And other players are going to have to make plays. But I have really high hope for Detroit. They're probably going to end in burning sadness, but I do, for the first time in a long time, I'm like, you know what? I like everything that's coming out of him. I like who we drafted. I like what we did. It was intelligent. It wasn't like, let's get another running back. Like, it was like, you know what we should get is this guy and this guy and this guy, pieces. We never did that before. We went for what's pretty. So I'm very excited as a Lions fan.
Hold on.
What's up?
I didn't want to do it.
What?
Jeremiah wants to know about the Bucks.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
They're going to suck. We got Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah!
So,
I'm so happy Detroit didn't sign him. So happy.
I like Bruce Arians. We'll see what happens. I'm obviously not sold on Winston. This is his last year. If Arians can't do anything with him, bye-bye.
What do you do? What's your other option besides Winston? Because you didn't draft anyone. I don't think, right? No QBs.
Yeah, we drafted a QB.
I mean,
I don't know who he was. He probably played for the Geneseo High School team. I don't know. But I don't get the Ndamukong Suh move just because we got rid of Gerald McCoy, which is pretty much the same guy as Suh. Suh was 2, McCoy was 3, same year. Mm-hmm. And they both basically play like each other now. Like, you average 5 sacks, except McCoy never got suspended for stepping on someone's throat or trying to break someone's ankle. So, and we owed McCoy $13 million for this year. So we cut him to save $13 million, but we signed Suh for 1 year for $10 million.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense because you pretty much have the same guy. Now, if Suh can come back to his old self and be a dominant force, I'm all for it. But I don't see it.
If he did not succeed when he is on that Rams line, I don't know how you succeed when it's just...
No.
I guess maybe, sometimes players play better when it's just themselves. I don't think Suh is that.
He's not.
Suh was amazing in Detroit, but they also had a line that was all about getting him sacks. And that's basically how they robbed the Dolphins, or how he did. Because he came off a 19-sack season.
Yep.
He was amazing, even with all the criminal shit. Well, not criminal, but bad sportsman-like stuff. Yeah, that was an odd move for you guys. I don't know if maybe he can make differences. I don't know. I think anytime you sign a 1-year deal, you're really rolling the dice. Because what's their motivation?
There is no motivation. It's to get the money and run.
Yeah.
He's going to get $10 million this year regardless, so.
It'll be interesting, though. I mean.
We're going to suck.
Your division's so tough.
We're going to be last in the South again.
Well, I don't know about that. Panthers look horrible. Panthers look horrible, and you have what is it? Cam Newton's not having sex for a whole year. Which I guarantee he did not keep that promise. Guarantee you. There's no way. The man's got kids. He knows the deed. Anyway, we'll move on to a little bit of MMA. Our boy John Jones representing Rochester. People, I think we all agree he's the best in history, best ever. I agree. I think he is. I think it's him and then Anderson Silva. But I think it's pretty cool, even though he's obviously a criminal and he's done a lot of bad things, steroids, ran over a pregnant woman, all of those things. Still pretty cool to have a Rochester person be the best ever. If he stays clean, though, and he keeps doing what he's doing, undeniable.
He's from Rochester. He won't stay clean.
You know what's crazy? He's the son of a preacher, too. Like, I don't know. You'd think that would have had that talk with him. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, at least he, fights from Rochester, because the guy that we saw is points. That's all he wanted. Yeah. So at least Bones goes.
Was it Desmond Green or something?
I don't remember his name. Not important enough to remember, but he. So to tell the story, we all went to the UFC fights a couple weeks ago in Rochester, and there was a guy from Rochester. And everyone was hyped when he came out. The crowd was going nuts. But all he is a points collector. Once he realized or thought he was ahead in points, all he had to do was just not get knocked out or lose the points. He ran. Like, he'd go in, make a hit, and then literally the last round, he knew he had won as long as he doesn't get knocked out. He was literally running around the octagon laughing because the guy wasn't going to get him. Like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, if you know what you're doing, you know what you sign up for when you become a UFC fighter. You're going to probably get something broken. You're probably going to break something in your face. But that's what you sign up for. That's what you're getting paid to do. You robbed the entire arena of a good fight. They were all waiting for you to come out. And all you did was get on top points-wise, and then you ran around the octagon like a coward.
You don't make fans that way. I never understood that. And I know I'm not an MMA fighter or an athlete by any means. But I know that if I had pursued that, I would be exactly like, honestly, like Conor. Conor went out there and he made his legacy in knockouts and shit-talking. And those two things made him a multi-millionaire. And now he owns his own whiskey company and he'll never have to work a day in his life. Why did he do that? Because he knew fans make him money. I know that it's simple. Like Matt, our friend Matt, is a huge MMA fan. He always bitches and complains because Conor's an example of what's wrong with the sport. I disagree. It's entertainment. It's not just about. It's not fencing, right? That's all about the classy and about the points and all that crap. People who watch that and that's their thing, great. But people who watch two men or two women get into a cage and fist fight each other. We want to be entertained. It's gladiators. It's modern-day gladiators. You know what makes me want to root for you? Someone out there who's, like, licking blood off their gloves and fist fighting and, like, just... That's what makes me want to go out and buy shirts and see them.
It's MMA.
Yeah, that's it. So, like, if you're not doing those things, you're doing yourself a disservice because you can have 50 wins, but if all 50 are unanimous... Look at Floyd Mayweather. Obviously, he might be a poor example because he's a billionaire, but in the same retrospect, like, he's got 50 wins and only, like, 10 knockouts. Mike Tyson had 30 wins, and they're all knockouts, and he's more renowned than Floyd Mayweather. Winning, how you win and what you do when you win makes money and makes a difference, so I never understood that.
Agreed.
What else? McGregor, everyone's saying McGregor should fight Nick next, which is Nate's older brother. Yeah. I don't like that fight. Nick is a big 170-pounder. He fights usually at 185. That's a bad fight for Conor. And he's long and lanky and better than Nate, and Nate already beat him once. So I don't like that fight, but it will make money. I personally don't think we ever see Connor in an octagon.
I don't think we will either.
I don't know. There's not a reason to.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. He's got plenty of money.
His whiskey's doing fantastic.
He's got a reputation. He's gonna go down as a great MMA fighter.
He's gonna go down as the most impactful UFC fighter of all time. He changed the game. He got an entire country to root for him, and he got people like me. I'm wearing a Connor shirt as we're doing this. People like me to actually care again. It was entertaining. And he changed it. For me, he changed it. People like Matt would disagree and said he ruined it. Some people are like that. I'm not. I'm a wrestling fan. I like entertainment. I like athleticism and entertainment. That's why I watch things. So for me, I think he's going to go down as one of the GOATs. He's the first champ. Enough said.
Champ.
Moving on. Now this is the juicy stuff. This is what I think we wanted to really talk about, is the NBA. We are at the finals. I don't think... Do we remember our picks? I know we both picked Warriors, clearly. But I feel like you picked the Raptors, or was that last year? For some reason, I feel like you picked the Raptors, and I'm not trying... I don't want to give you credit, but
might have been.
I swear I remember you saying the Raptors.
I might have picked the Raptors.
At least, I know you picked the Raptors for the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. But how about Giannis falling apart at the end there?
That's too young.
Too young, too inexperienced. I mean, it's Kawhi is a killer. He's got ice in his veins. He had all that momentum. I mean, they won 4 in a row on the team that had the best record in the NBA.
Kawhi's out to prove a point because all those douters.
He was out for a year,
saying he faked his injury and da 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 da. And I'm not sitting there saying his injury wasn't as bad as he said, but. All those haters out there, and now he's out for blood, and he's about to show you.
I'm a Kawhi fan right now. I'm not buying a jersey, but the dude is he's quiet, he's respectful, he's well reserved, and he's an ice cold killer. He kind of reminds me of Kobe, in that sense, where Kobe would just flip that switch and just go, and it was about winning. And Kawhi, man, they're by far he's the best player on that team by far.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't stop him. And I think we'll do our picks, but I think it was pretty amazing to see them win 4 in a row against Giannis because they were pretty confident they were going to take it. Nope. The
pressure got to him.
It did. That's what happens, man. That's what hopefully this is a good example of why what LeBron did was so unbelievable. Because he was the best player on that team, and he made it all the way to the finals with a bunch of bums. And as good as Giannis is, and he might be the next to the throne, he's not LeBron yet. He's clearly not.
We talked about this earlier. I think if the Bucks can go out and get a solid number 2 shooter, I think they're right back in it because, like you said, I don't agree to the comparison to LeBron James. I just don't see it. But... He is an amazing player, and the sky's the limit for him.
Absolutely.
And he just can't. He's too young. You put LeBron on that Bucks team, he probably could have carried the team. But Giannis is just too young, and he just doesn't have the shot right. He's amazing in the paint. He's the next big man. You didn't think you'd see that again. You get him,
and he's a shooter too.
Yeah. Well. His shooting, either the pressure got to him or
15
not.
feet.
But
15 feet.
Yeah, if he can get his shot down and they get another, a number 2 shooter, I think they could be contenders next year. But, I mean, you think about it, it's Giannis, and then their second best is Bledsoe.
Yep.
If they can get someone in free agency, a solid number 2, they could be a really good team.
I agree. I think they're right there. They're on the cusp. I do worry about, a sophomore slump because they were right there. And... they should not there's no way they should have lost 4 in a row. That's absolutely insane. It's a rookie mistake, that's when you get there, that's when it's winning time. And I think people forget that. That's the thing. What we saw in the East, although we never got to see Kawhi versus LeBron, which I wish we did in the East, but what we saw is basically the same teams, save for Toronto, and they all kind of struggled against each other. Well, LeBron didn't. And it just kind of shows how people forget this year how good LeBron was and is and how intelligent he is in the game. Because he knows when to flip the switch. I don't think Giannis did. He did, like you said at the beginning. He kind of crumbled.
Yeah.
So, but I love it. It sets up a new finals with Toronto versus Warriors. Who's your pick? How many games and who? I mean, okay, so we're both picking the Warriors.
I'm going to be nice to Toronto, and I'm going to say 5, and that's just being generous. But tonight, everyone's talking, it's in Jurassic Park is what they call it. Stupid. It's in Toronto. The Warriors, they're rested. They're
9 days
relaxed. 9 days off. They're ready to go. Boogie is back.
Ooh, that's a game changer.
I'm telling you right now, I don't be surprised if both Splash Brothers go for probably 30 each, if not more, and the Raptors lose by as much as 25.
I mean, honestly, it's not. It really does depend on if those shots fall, but I think the Warriors are just going to be so hungry, and they see that legacy championship. They get this, and they know it's the last go. Yep. I mean, Ziggy's going to be retiring. Katie's most likely, in my opinion, going to the Knicks. Clay probably will stay, hopefully. Steph will stay. Draymond will probably stay, but this is the last ride type thing. So I'm sure they're thinking, we don't have KD. Let's just pedal to the metal. If they win one of those 2 games, the odds of them going 3-1 is huge, which everyone knows. It's really hard to come back from 3-1.
Yeah.
But if they win both, then it's over. And they can sweep. So they're hungry. I think the Warriors are hungry.
I'm so glad you asked this question, Jeremiah. He says without Durant. Absolutely. If you look at the Warriors' record,
31-2 without him.
Without Durant. I'm not saying Durant's not an amazing player in my opinion.
I'm sorry, no, I lied. That's 36-1 now, or 36-2 because they swept Portland.
Durant, in my opinion, is the best player in the league.
He's the best scorer
right now.
He's the best scorer, in my opinion.
He's an amazing player, and the Warriors are absolutely incredibly dangerous with him on the court. But the Warriors don't need Durant. They won a title without Durant.
They went 73-9 without him.
They don't need Durant. Durant, let's face it, he went to Golden State to win the title because he couldn't get a title in OKC. And so he moved to, it's just like football. When players leave a crappy team, what's the number one destination? The Patriots. Mm-hmm. Your best shot for a title. So they're not even worried if Durant doesn't play this whole series. I'm telling you right now, if Durant doesn't play again the rest of this series, Warriors are still going to win in 5 at most.
I agree.
They don't need him.
No, it's almost like it's not even fair. It's like taking steroids. They put him in. I mean, but it's the truth of the matter is the Raptors are fantastic defensively, but they don't have 5 shutdown defenders, and they would need that. Like, the odds of Steph having a bad night. Does it happen? Of course. Clay having a bad night. Does it happen? Of course. The odds of, if Durant was playing, having a bad night. The odds of Draymond getting too many fouls. Those are all high. The Boogie's definitely going to get taxed. All of those things. But all of those things don't ever happen in one game.
Nope.
If Clay has a bad night, Steph goes off. If Steph has a bad night, Clay goes off. If Clay and Steph are struggling, Draymond gets down and dirty in the middle and gets enough points to get the boys open shots. They just know how to win.
And also, when a couple of those guys are having bad nights, their bench can put up some points too.
Deep bench, very deep.
Like, that team is stacked. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to diss on Durant. He's a great player, but he is on a team that absolutely does not need him.
And that's why I think they're gonna win this. I predict a sweep. Is that ridiculous? Yes, but Kawhi is gonna have to play out of his mind to win one of these 2 games. Can he do it? Absolutely. I hope he does it. I want 7 games. I just don't see it happening. I just think the Warriors are licking their chops going, okay, we're going against a squad that had a difficult road to get to the finals. They went all of these games. They overcame all of this stuff, and now all they have to do is stop Kawhi. And Kawhi is amazing, but he is stoppable. It's been done. Mm-hmm. LeBron has stopped Kawhi. And Draymond is arguably a better defender. I just think if Draymond does even half a good job of taking Kawhi out of the game, all the other boys do have to shoot their shot, which that's what they do. I just think this is an easy thing for the Warriors. Not trying to be overseeing it, but I can't wait for next year because I think in 2 years, this is my prediction, in 2 years we're going to have the LA Lakers versus the New York Knicks. because I think Durant and Kyrie Irving are going to the Knicks, and I think LeBron is going to get a couple of big superstars, and that's going to be the finals.
And I think Kyrie's going to end up with the Lakers.
I don't. I think it would look so bad for his legacy because he bailed on LeBron.
I get it.
And LeBron drugged that ass team to all the way to the finals. And yes, they got swept, but he did it without Kawhi.
100% agree that Durant is going to the Knicks, but I'm about 75-80% sure Kyrie Irving's going to the Lakers.
It'll be interesting. This offseason is going to be great. Like, that's pretty much the gist on the finals. I'm super excited. I hope I'm wrong. It's going to be awesome. It's a fresh matchup. It's going to be good. But I predict a sweep. But moving on from that, it's going to be really interesting to see like where AD goes. Because now that they have Zion and the Pelicans, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? What are the Lakers going to do? They're such a mess. All the drama with Magic Johnson, and they don't even have a president. I don't know. Like, are they going to be able to get any free agents? Like, I feel bad for LeBron.
I think really LeBron will be able to get someone.
Who though? He couldn't do it in Cleveland. The only person he got was Kevin Love.
Yeah, but that's Cleveland, Ohio. That's
that's
not
true.
L.A.
I know. LA's got the name, but it's like a kind of a mess of a team.
It's a huge mess of a team, but
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I really hope AD goes to the Lakers. I want to see. This is my dream scenario because another great topic that we should talk about is Houston. Houston's about to blow up their squad.
Yep.
Which I think
fire sale.
They have to. They have to. It doesn't work. It's never going to work because James Harden is a selfish scorer.
If you say it, I'm going to punch you in the face.
What?
Just go ahead.
Well, he's a selfish scorer. He's not going to be able to get it done he doesn't share the ball. Like and Chris Paul, one of the best point guards of all time, needs the ball in his hands. That's how he's the most effective. Blow the team up. Leave Harden. Have him milk that franchise for all he wants. Dan Antoni sees the writing on the wall. They had the best 2 years of maybe Rockets' entire franchise.
Yep.
And they couldn't get it done. And they're never going to get it done. Even if KD leaves and Boogie leaves, which he will too, they're not going to beat that 3-team Warriors. And LeBron's team's going to be better next year. It's going to be more efficient. He's going to be more focused, more well-rested. And then imagine if they get AD. Send Chris Paul to the Lakers. You want to see magic?
Paul, AD, and LeBron James.
LeBron's never had an actual pure point guard. That's a fact. The closest he ever had was Rondo, and he ended up getting hurt, and he never really got to expose that. You think if you want to see LeBron at 100% his purest, take the ball out of his hand and put it in Chris Paul's hand. If I was the Lakers, whoever's in charge there, I would be like, who do you want? Give me Chris Paul. That's all I would say. Chris Paul and LeBron are best friends. It would be so good for morale for them to be that dynamic duo again, to have a pure point guard that he respects, and it'd be magic. And then you add AD. Chris Paul throwing the AD and LeBron in the paint, just forget. It would be amazing. It would be a NBA orgasm to watch. It really would. If that happens, I don't care if people bitch about super teams. I'm sorry, that's the league now. That's what I want to see. I want to see Chris Paul, LeBron, and AD. I don't care how that happens. Make it happen.
It's going to be a crazy offseason.
It's going to be awesome.
And we'll see what happens. I'm a Laker fan. I got my fingers crossed. I don't have that mentality of freaking out thinking we're not going to get anyone. I think someone's going to come. And honestly, when the Rockets said they were pretty much doing a fire sale, Chris Paul was the first thing that popped up in my mind. Just because, like you said, Chris Paul and LeBron James, best friends. Mm-hmm. So I could see it's either going to be Kyrie or Chris Paul. It's going to be one of those guys.
I would take Chris Paul. I mean, Kyrie is no. I actually, at the beginning of this year, the NBA, we talked about how Kyrie and the Boston Celtics is going to be something special. I'm pretty sure I actually picked Boston to make it to the finals. Kyrie laid an egg. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he just didn't care.
I honestly think there was tension behind the scenes in Boston.
He just didn't show up, and it made me go, I hope that's... Kyrie's got some of the best handles in the league. He's one of the best scorers. He's clutch.
It's because he's from Duke.
Yeah, and he's Kobe's apprentice.
Yeah.
He's got everything. If he goes to the Lakers, they need another piece. But the issue is, if you get Kyrie, you can't get Chris Paul because they're point guards.
Yep.
And we've seen it. Yeah, they won a championship, Kyrie and LeBron, and that was great and everything, but they need a third piece. If you add Kyrie, you must get AD. If you add Chris Paul, you might, if you get even a couple of supporting players, that might be enough. You don't need AD. Do I want to see it? Yes. But if you get Chris Paul and LeBron on one team, I really think all the other boys are gonna get a ton of shots.
Calling it right now on the Cock and Rod podcast. Next year, it's gonna be AD, LeBron James, Chris Paul. Book it.
I will go nuts. My dream scenario is those three versus the Knicks, Kyrie and KD and someone else. I don't know. That I want a Knicks versus Lakers finals.
That'd be
like
crazy.
that would be awesome. I love KD versus LeBron. That's my favorite rivalry. That's what I want. Like if I could have a Christmas list, that's what I want. I want Chris Paul to go back to being the Clippers Chris Paul, because I don't think he's over the hill. I just think it's impossible to play with Harden.
Our favorite Laker is
Hey, Chris.
join the show.
Congrats on the intern, buddy. For sure. That's my wish.
My dream is for everyone to leave Houston and just Harden be a one-man team, because he'd
is.
probably make it to the finals or to the playoffs
I hate
by
it so
himself,
much.
just running into the paint. Like, don't even dribble. Just hold on to it, put your arm out, and just run. And when you don't get the call,
What? That's my favorite thing in the NBA is what? How is that a foul? I do appreciate that. I don't know if you read that article a few weeks back, but Draymond's mentality changed this year, and he's so much better for it. He lost 20
the GOAT
pounds.
defender.
Yeah, I love that. I like that mentality because people don't focus on that being something to hang your hat on, and they should. Like, why was Scottie Pippen so good with MJ? Because he was a lockdown, deadly defender. He doesn't get credit for it, but I guarantee you MJ doesn't get 6 rings without Pippen's lockdown defensive. Players like that grime and dirty, that Draymond just finally embraced it. He stopped getting all those stupid texts, all those stupid fouls. He just takes it now, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He grew up, and that was cool to see. He cried nonstop a year ago.
Yes.
Now, he's in there, he's grimy. I like it. I think it's a good transformation.
See some of it tonight, I guarantee it.
I think Draymond is the key, man. Mark my words. This franchise or this series is going to be won and lost by that man.
Iguodala is one of those key players too.
I love Iggy.
If he has a great game, they're a hard team to beat regardless. But like we talked earlier, their bench play is incredible.
Good.
The team is stacked. Good job, Kerr.
Kerr is just killing it. And the franchise puts money into it. Like, the franchise is like, to me, and this is biased, and I know it's my generation, but this is the best team I've ever seen, and this is the longest, for me, this is the greatest run I've ever seen. And, like, people are going to bring up the Chicago Bulls, and obviously MJ's 2 3-peats. Obviously amazing, right? The thing is that year gap did hurt them, and in that second run, it was a lot weaker. So, right now, these are the best athletes. These are the best teams. These are the best everything. Athletically, the rules, everything. What they're doing, they changed it. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Steve Kerr, all of them changed the game.
Yeah.
So it's all about 3 points. You can thank
the big
Steph
man,
Curry.
The big man died because of them.
Gone. That's why I'm curious to see how Zion does. I do not think...
Yeah, because he doesn't really have a shot.
No.
He plays, he's got the Harden mentality, run into the paint.
He's got, run into the paint, which you can't do anymore. You can do that in college because he towers over people.
Yeah.
When you go to the NBA, you are literally playing with the big boys. He's not going to be running in against, like, Boogie and stuff. You know, even Draymond could lock him down. So it'll be interesting to see how that transitions to it. But I'm so excited to see this series. I want 7 games.
It's not going to happen.
I think the Warriors they know this is their last run. Kawhi's going to make plenty more finals.
I just can't wait when they lose. I hope the cameraman zooms right on Drake's face.
Oh my! That's a great segue because the NBA actually talked to the Raptors.
I agree. What he does, like, I get it. You're a super fan. I get it. You're an ambassador for the team. You don't need to be on the court. There's a reason that you do not go on the court. You shouldn't be going to the sidelines with the players, hanging out with the players during timeouts, rubbing the ref's shoulders. Like, great, you're a super fan, ambassador, whatever. Whoopie-doo, Basil. Stay in your seat.
I disagree. I love it.
You do.
I think it's fantastic. I think if he wasn't the Raptors ambassador, I'd say it's bizarre. But look at, like, Spike Lee and stuff. Like, he used to do all that stuff. He used to be involved. Yes, obviously Drake wants the attention, and he's doing it for the wrong reasons. I'm not going to argue that. But at the same time, like, if the Raptors don't care, That's kind of like a mind thing, you know, and it backfires. Like it's gonna backfire this series because it backfired the last series.
Yeah, Drake is gonna say something stupid because like,
to the wrong person.
Steph's gonna be having like a off shooting half or quarter, and Drake's gonna be doing this to him, and then Steph's just gonna snap into it.
He's gonna Reggie Miller his ass.
It's just like the thing with Kevin Hart when he always harasses players.
Yes,
and he was harassing James Harden. And Harden went off for like 35 points in the second quarter or the second half, and he goes up to Kevin Hart after the game and says, "You can thank your fans, the Sixers, because of you, what you did." And I agree 100%. He's gonna go off on one of the Splash Boys because they're gonna have a bad quarter.
Yep.
And then they're gonna come back out of halftime and they're just gonna start sinking them. And Raptors fans, you can thank your ambassador.
And that's why I kind of love it because this is gonna backfire on Drake. Like, and if it doesn't, like, then good for the Raptors. Like, if he's getting into the heads of the opposing team, good. Like, good. If you're gonna let him have that free reign and it's working, great. And then, so far it is, right? They're winning. But like you said, he's going to light up at some point and be like, "Oh, Steph, you're sucking tonight." And then Steph's going to come out the second half and drop 45 points and look right at him. And then everyone, including the Raptors players, are going to be like, "That's why you shouldn't do this." And that's why I like it, because it's going to backfire on Drake. It backfired on Spike Lee.
Yep.
It's going to backfire on him. So, and plus, the Raptors have the power to tell him no. They're dumb if they don't. So, one of the last things, LBJ's kid and D-Wade's kid teaming up. I think that's pretty cool. Bronny, obviously LBJ's oldest son, they gave him, he turned a certain age, and LeBron said you can have an Instagram now. He got like 4 million followers in like hours. But, you know, he's LeBron's one of the most recognizable athletes of all time. So, but that's pretty crazy to know that like Dwayne Wade's, there's a real chance that we see both D-Wade and LeBron's kids playing together at some. I'm sure there is.
Oh yeah,
but that's crazy.
If not, it's going to be really cool because if they go to separate teams, it's going to be LeBron versus D-Wade, except it's going to be their kids.
I'll tell you what. If I was Pat Riley, if he's still in charge, then when D-Wade's kid comes up to the draft, I would throw the checkbook trying to get him.
How crazy would it be if he goes to Miami and then LeBron's son goes to Cleveland?
Oh, that'd be the coolest thing ever. like it writes itself. Like, that's what they should do. That's what I would do if I was Dan Gilbert, which obviously he's having health issues, but if he's still around, then I shouldn't laugh at that. If he's still kicking, then that's what I would do. Huh?
That's not much better.
But no, okay. If he's healthy and happy,
there you go.
Much better.
Family show.
Then I would throw the checkbook at that. But again, we have a real potential to see LeBron play with his kid, because Bronny is. I don't know if you've ever seen the highlights. They now show it on Sports Center. The dude's ridiculous.
It's just like Kobe Bryant's daughter.
Yes.
Some of the stuff she does, they do it side by side of Kobe in his heyday and what his daughter's doing, and it's identical.
I think it's awesome. I love that.
Absolutely.
I think it's so cool. I think it's cool that Bronny's like kind of trying to build his own legacy. Like, he's got the hardest. Like, Michael Jordan's kids couldn't do it. No. They couldn't run. Like, nobody could.
He doesn't want to be known as LeBron James' son. No. I mean, he's always going to have that. Everyone's going to know who he is because of his father. But I tell you what, if he goes out there on the court and gets drafted and is an amazing player, he has a chance to make his own path. Like, he doesn't have to follow in his father's footsteps. Go and do your own thing. And I know that's what he wants. He doesn't want to be known as LeBron's son. He wants to be known as himself and what he does on the court.
Yeah, he wants to continue the legacy, not be reminded of his father. So, but that's super cool. I mean, I don't think I have anything else NBA. Do you?
No.
That's pretty much the gist. I'm excited about today.
Before we get into wrestling, I told one of our fans.
Which one?
Josh.
Hi,
I would
Josh.
do this. So before we go on WWE, let's take a minute and just honor the great and powerful Tiger Woods.
Oh my God.
I tell you right now, huge golf fan, and I've always rooted for Tiger, love him, and there was haters saying he'll never win again, da-da-da-da-da. He had the most epic comeback in a career in history. Everyone wrote him off like 8 years ago. Never going to win again. Never going to win again. Well, you know what? He came back and won the Super Bowl of golf. And It just was amazing. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. This joker over here doesn't think golf is a sport. So here's a fun one for our viewers that are watching. Let's just go through and have a poll. Who thinks golf is a sport and who thinks golf is a hobby? All right. But I just wanted to take a minute. Congratulations, Tiger Woods. You get yourself a golf clap. Good to have you back. Let's go win another one.
Oh my God.
Right.
I as much as I say golf is not a sport, it is pretty cool to see someone kind of rise from the ashes. So
Yes.
no matter what, even if I don't like the sport or not, or the hobby or whatever you want to call it, I still think it's
Wait,
awesome.
he lives?
No, shut up. Whatever you want to call it, I think it's always awesome to see someone like redeem themselves, because past is past. I think he was villainized for all the wrong reasons. I think what he did is not abnormal. We can get into that another time.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think it's cool to see anyone in the world who comes back from a lot of adversity, all his back surgeries, all of his problems,
Everything.
his personal life. It's very cool. And you know what? It inspired a lot of people, and that's why we watch sports. So whatever you want to call it, I might not like the sport, hobby, whatever. I do really, really appreciate someone doing something that, one, I could never, and most 99.9% of people could never do, and he did it with everything against him. So very cool in that sense. I will tip my hat to him for sure. That is a cool shout out.
So proud of you.
It's not the greatest comeback in history, though.
It is.
The
We'll get into
greatest
that.
No, I have to say this. The greatest comeback in history is LeBron
I knew
coming
you were
back
gonna
from
say it.
3-1.
Oh
Nobody's
my
ever done it
God.
against one of the best in the world ever to exist ever.
Do we have this capability? I'm gonna say a word and we can it blurs my mouth when I say it.
I can.
We can do that?
I can.
So can we do that?
We have the technology.
Okay. So for people that are watching this now, I apologize. But will you get LeBron's dick out your mouth? Holy crap. I agree. It was a great comeback.
3-1.
Oh my God.
3-1 in the finals against the best team to ever exist. Oh my God. You know what? You need to put it in your mouth to appreciate the amazingness of it. All right, we'll move past that though. We're gonna dive headfirst into the shit show we call wrestling. As everyone knows, we're huge professional wrestling fans. We've been fans our whole life, since we were little bushkas. So
what?
bushkas.
I know. I get it. I've never heard you say it. It just
Bushka.
confused me.
But we love it. But right now we're going through a very difficult time as fans.
Yes.
The WWE, which is, I think we both agree, it's our product. We love it. It's horrible right now, and
It's got one of the worst ratings it's ever had.
worst ratings. The stories don't make sense. The characters are suffering. Nothing makes sense. It's back to being embarrassing to be a wrestling fan, and that sucks.
Yep.
Because we don't want to be quote unquote in the closet when it comes to being a wrestling fan. But that honestly, that's how it is.
It's hard.
It's hard to go out in public with my wrestling shirts right now because of Vince Kennedy McMahon.
I like that you got that middle name in there.
Yes, he is ruining
Yes.
the company he built, and I swear to God, this is what I believe in my heart. He's trying to destroy the company, so when he dies, it dies with him. I know that might be hyperbole, but I really do. That's the only thing that can make sense. John Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose, one of our favorite wrestlers. He was a member of The Shield, our favorite faction of all time. Mm-hmm. He left the company, and he did a podcast, which we're going to plug it right now, Talk is Jericho. Fantastic podcast. And he pretty much, everything we've ever said, which is that Vince is out, he's senile, he's lost touch, he doesn't know what's funny, he doesn't know how to write stories, he's completely lost creative control. But everything goes through him. Yep. And because of that, he left the company strictly because he was making him a joke. That to me proved everything. That podcast made me go, Vince is the problem.
I will tell you, we don't have enough time to go over everything that Moxley went over in the podcast.
It's a great podcast.
But like John said, Talk is Jericho. And you can look it up on Google, Talk is Jericho, and literally one of the things says that Moxley. Play it. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long. I listened to it last night on my phone, and I'm going to tell you right now, wow. Like, he doesn't hold back. He goes over everything. What's wrong with WWE? Why he left WWE? I'm going to tell you right now, that man was unhappy for 9 months. Every time he went out into that arena, he was unhappy. It is crazy. Vince McMahon, I agree with you. After that podcast, Vince better step away because it's going to ruin him.
And to ruin the company.
Give it to Triple H. But like I said, we can't really go. We'll go over some of the stuff that he said because it's just so crazy. But I will advise all of you that are watching, if you're a wrestling fan, after this is over, get on Google and look it up and just listen to the whole podcast. It's as real as it gets.
And even if you're not like a pure wrestling fan, if you've ever wondered what happens behind the curtains like we have, it's such a great way to peek and be like, oh, so that's how it's been working. And it's mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing to hear him speak so plainly, and it makes me go, okay, so Vince is a problem. And, dude, without him, we wouldn't have wrestling. He's a god. He's the god of wrestling. He really is. I'm not saying that's taking anything away from him. Everyone loses touch. It's just what happens. The game changes. Like, if you took Michael Jordan and put him in today's system, he would not be nearly as good as he once was. That's not a shot against him. That's just it changed so much that it's impossible for you to have that. And Vince has never let go of the reins. No. And pun intended, Reigns is another great, like, that's his guy, right? He loves Roman Reigns, which is fantastic. He's an awesome wrestler. My favorite wrestler. That doesn't mean you have to shove him down your throats, but Vince won't stop doing that.
Yep.
And it's clear. NXT Triple H is running it. He runs all of it. It is consistently amazing. Yep. Never a bad episode. Even NXT UK, amazing. 205, Cruiserweight, 205 Live, ever since Tripp took over, it's better. He's younger. He's 46. He gets it. He knows humor. He knows timing. He knows stories. He knows all of those things, and Vince doesn't anymore. Vince is 73 years old. Most 73-year-old men are not hip. They just can't.
No.
You can't retain and continue to learn at 73. You just can't.
One of the things I noticed, and they talked about with AEW, which is the new brand, which I'm hoping the only way they're going to make this better is if they do like an old school Raw's War type deal where WCW used to invade WWF, and this and that, and it became huge. Mm-hmm. And maybe down the road, AEW and Raw or WWE will have a clash. But like he was talking about shoving Reigns down our throat, one of the things that you'll like about AEW is everyone has an opportunity. Everyone gets a shot. Not just the big names. You got little names that come out there that no one knows that just put on show of their life. And that's what's wrong with WWE. Don't get me wrong, I love Roman Reigns. I love some of the big stars. But Vince only wants to use like 4 of the big stars. You have an entire locker room with talent. There's a reason they do this. They have talent. And he just doesn't let them shine. It's the 5 main guys are the ones that get the spotlight. If Vince would just open up and give these guys a chance to shine,
let them be themselves.
It would be great. But
why did we love Stone Cold? Because
he did whatever he wanted.
He just went out and he was Stone Cold. He was a boot kicking, ass kicking, loss. He was beer drinking. He was awesome. He felt authentic. Why did we love The Rock? He felt authentic. Was he over the top? Of course. The dude raised his eyebrows every day. It was ridiculous, but he made us believe. Yeah. And it wasn't so scripted. And Jon Moxley says that. Every single thing is so overproduced, it's impossible for you to get over. And it shows. And it's making me as a fan so frustrated because we are loyalists. We love WWE. We love the characters. But if you're just going to make us look and seem stupid...
Yeah. One of the things...
That's how I feel. Truly, I feel embarrassed right now to be a wrestling fan, and I wasn't. A year ago, I didn't feel this way. It just shows in the rating show, something's going wrong and something has to change quickly, or WWE will never fold. But I'll tell you what, you can lose a lot of fans like us, people who watched it since we were kids, and that's not easy to do.
Yeah. I will tell you one of the things that was just mind-numbing that I heard in that entire podcast, and this just shows how much Vince has lost it. The Shield came together in WWE. They showed up together, and they're all 3 legit best friends. They love each other. They consider each other brothers. It's not a storyline in WWE. Outside WWE, they are brothers. Mm-hmm. And Roman Reigns was diagnosed with leukemia last year.
For the second time,
and he was out for like 5 months. Well, not even like a couple weeks after he announced that he had leukemia and he had to step away to get healthy, Vince apparently, in one of his Dina's scripts that were written for him, He didn't say what he wanted to, what was written on the paper. He flat out said in the podcast, "I'm not going to say this live. I'll tell you afterwards." Because he's like, if I would have said this, I probably would have got fired. And flat out says, Vince, if you wrote this or whoever wrote this, if you're listening, you should be ashamed of yourselves. He wanted him to take a dig at his best friend about cancer. We don't know what it was. We don't know what he was supposed to say.
Which cancer is untouched. It should never.
No.
Even if it wasn't, which if they did it, we talked about if it was fake, which obviously it wasn't. But it's one of those things you don't touch.
Yeah.
Why even get the heat for it? It makes everyone go like, oh god. It's not even like boo. It's like, oh Jesus,
that's
who wrote
just
that?
uncalled for. Yeah, and that just shows like I don't know what Vince is thinking, but that's not good. That's bad karma, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Absolutely.
Like who does that?
It's shameful that it was even written and given to someone, especially someone who's close with him. Like, not, it's inexcusable even if you're not, but just like to put him in that situation and like, it just shows. We've talked about it. Like, we love the Revival. Amazing. They're an amazing tag team. Who's other people? Seth for a long time was kept under. Dean was never given the credit he was supposed to get. Bobby Roode. Like all of these.
EC3. What has he done?
CM Punk. They drove him out. Vince drove him out himself. Like all of these people are great, amazing talents, but most of the people don't know it because Vince doesn't let them shine.
Nope.
And it's just sad. Like, I'm all AEW. Go AEW. They did the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I've seen some parts of it. It was fantastic. It changed the professional wrestling world in a good way. And I think you agree. I hope it lights a fire under WWE's ass. And if there is a board of directors, I'm not sure if there is for WWE, they should be getting together, congregating, going, it might be time to oust this guy. Because if he's the bottleneck and nothing good is getting through, I mean,
tell you right now,
what's the point? Why even try? Why even be a character? Why even show up?
WWE better figure something out because I didn't go into the AEW pay-per-view thinking, it's just another off-brand, it's another ROC, whatever. They killed it. Mm-hmm. An amazing show because everyone got the opportunity to shine.
And they wrestled.
Yes.
Like they had 5 20-minute matches. That's what we love, right? Like, we love the stories. Of course we do. But when you can write that story and make a play out of professional wrestling, that's what gives you... I get goosebumps thinking about it. And that's what AEW did. And so, do they have all the superstars I love? No. But they at least are giving the ones they do have a chance to be themselves. And Chris Jericho, one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, came out and publicly said, like, yeah, AEW is going to let you be you. Unscripted, let you shine.
Vince better be scared because if WWE continues to keep going down this path, you're going to see all these big names leave to go to AEW.
So many. Sasha's probably going to go there.
I was going to bring that up. I was checking out her Instagram and I was like, I bet you she ends up on AEW.
Why wouldn't she? If I was any wrestler who's not being utilized, all I would be thinking is AEW. Why wouldn't you? And Moxley said it. He was like, it doesn't matter how many zeros they put on my check. They ruined... They're artists, and people don't see wrestlers like that. If you're not a professional wrestling fan, you probably don't see it that way. But what they do in the ring and with these characters, it's like it is acting. Mm-hmm. They are writing and telling a story with their bodies. Nobody in the world can do that. And when you take that away from them, and they're so passionate about it, it's like taking a paintbrush away from Picasso. You're killing them, and that's exactly how John sounded. And I think a ton of other wrestlers are going to feel the same way. It should. Vince, I'm sure right now Vince is like, oh, whatever, the piss ant company. I'm telling you right now, keep playing like you're untouchable and you will fall. Yep. The Roman Empire, learn from history.
No one thought WCW would fall.
Exactly.
WCW is huge. I started, my wrestling started with WCW. And then I heard of WWF and no one saw WCW going anywhere. And I'm telling you, I agree with you 100%. Vince, you better get off your high horse. You better realize you got some mad competition now, and
it's time for Triple H to take over.
Yep.
And that's it, man. NXT is the best product. Even as good as AEW was, NXT for me is the best product out there.
Yep.
Period. That's not even a question. That's the best. Give it to Triple H. Even if it's temporary, give him it for 4 months. The ratings don't go up, take it back. I guarantee you it goes up. Triple H is a wrestler. He grew up in the business. He loves the business. I don't think it's 73-year-old Vince. I mean, after what 40 plus years of doing this, he doesn't have a passion for it. Nobody could. I mean, like Ric Flair and stuff does, but he wasn't running a company. He had a life outside of it.
Yeah.
I think Vince is just too stubborn to take his hands off the wheel, and it will ruin his company, and it ruins us as fans.
Yep.
No doubt. So please, WWE, get your shit together. Get rid of Vince. Like, he made the company that we love. He sacrificed everything he could, and I could not be more thankful. But times change, man. It just does. That's why Dallas hasn't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. Because times changed. It's not a running back and a QB anymore.
No.
It's things change. That's why you have to adjust with the times.
You have to evolve with time.
Yes, and they just don't. And that's how it feels. Like, this is like...
You can tell he doesn't, because look what they did. They brought back the 24/7 belt.
Which is it's the hardcore title without the hardcore part.
Yeah, he's trying to go back to that era.
Look at the Saudi Arabia thing. They're having Undertaker versus Goldberg. Their combined age is like 130 years old. That's actually not too far off.
I kind of want to look that up.
And it's ridiculous. Like, you're trying to sell tickets, and not to mention, we've come out publicly and said we don't support them going to Saudi Arabia.
Nope.
It's all about the money. It's wrong. You're supporting a culture that completely goes against your women's revolution or whatever. But that's another discussion. But that's just an example of Vince not seeing the bigger picture. Vince is the issue. Give it to Triple H. And I do think the time's coming that Vince is either going to be ousted or something. But it wasn't this week. This week was horrible. Raw was bad. SmackDown was bad. They
didn't even watch SmackDown.
They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. It doesn't make sense. Like, Shane McMahon's on both shows getting like 45 minutes of screen.
Yep.
It's just...
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. You have all these incredible talents and you give 45 minutes to Shane McMahon. Get the hell out of here. There was 3 wrestling matches on a 3-hour show of Raw. Just 3.
Are you serious?
Yeah. There was 3 wrestling matches, and one of them was that stupid R-Truth thing. It's just like, okay, you're making a joke out of us fans. Like, you're telling us we go from the great Stone Cold, even back farther, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair, Sting, all these amazing people, and now we're stuck with the 24/7 in R-Truth. That's where we are. That gets screen time. Like,
it's sad.
It is sad. It's sad. We love it. It's our sport. We love it. We're passionate about it, and we're not afraid to say that. So it sucks. We're suffering because of one man, and that is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And I hope WWE wakes up and sees it.
Anyone, share all this. Share this video online everywhere. Maybe we'll get lucky and someone that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone that knows Triple H will see it, or Vince will see it, because I'm telling you right now, Vince doesn't let go of those reins within the next 5 years. WWE's
I would say less than that, man. I mean, in fall, AEW gets their own TV on TNT, no less, which is great. That has the NBA Finals on it.
That's where WWE was for the longest time.
I mean, that's a really good channel. A lot of people have it. I'm going to watch it. You already have my business right now.
It.
I mean, so who knows? I'm not saying that WWE will never flip, but I'll tell you this right now. It can lose a ton of fans, and it's just going to have little kids and people who take their kids. They're not going to have people like us that just love it because we are professional wrestling fans, and right now it feels like we're just jackasses. And I was glad. Jon Moxley's showing up at AEW, first of all, had one of the biggest pops I've ever heard. It was insane. Literally, the sound boomers mics were going nuts. Yeah. Even Jim Ross was going. It was great moment. It felt like Stone Cold. It really did. That moment right there might change the course of everything. And if WWE doesn't stand up and make a change, that's it. Things are gonna go very poorly very quickly. It'll be interesting to see how far Vince is gonna kill this company before someone's like, okay.
Maybe it'll be one of those things where they try and get a show somewhere in a big venue, like, oh nope, sorry, we have AEW for that night.
I hope so. I hope
maybe that'll be the wake up call Vince needs.
I'll tell you right now, AEW. If I was CM Punk, I'd go to AEW right now because that Jon Moxley thing blew the world up. Imagine if they got CM Punk. Whew, my God, that is still the hottest free agent in wrestling. You get that, you're getting quite the brigade against
Yeah,
WWE.
if CM Punk shows up in AEW, Vince, you're screwed.
Yeah, I react. Clearly, they didn't react to Double or Nothing. They had one mention, and Zayn got a ton of heat, which we still don't know if that was scripted or not. I'm sure it was, but even still, they've got to do something. I hope they just don't dick around. As a wrestling fans, we need a change, or I'm going to turn the channel off until you fix it.
Yep. Because
right now they're just insulting my intelligence. I love the characters, but the stories don't make any sense at all. And don't pretend like that doesn't matter. It does. Stone Cold wouldn't have been Stone Cold if
without
he was,
stories.
Yes, the stories, against the Authority, and The Rock versus the Authority, and The Rock being this like chosen one, and Stone Cold being this badass blue collar guy. Like, that was a simple story that worked. How about just a simple story like, I want that belt because I want that belt?
Yeah.
They don't even do that anymore. They have to make these things like, oh, I caught you shaving your friend's back. Like, what are we, 10? Like, come on, man. Like, even at 10, I would have been like, that's lame.
Or the itching powder and it's just...
It's one of those things
it's getting stupid. I don't know if Vince is just trying to bring back the Attitude Era, because they did funny stuff like that in the Attitude Era, but the Attitude Era is dead.
But it evened out, right? Like,
yes.
You do goofy things like that, like The Rock getting thrown into a river or whatever. Like, that was goofy. Of course, that's not what happened. But then the next night or the next week, you'd have bloody Stone Cold fist fighting in the middle of the ring. Like, it evened out. But now it's just like goofy nothing.
Now it's like they just don't even care. They're
Yeah,
just putting stuff out there so Vince can get money in his pocket.
Well, Vince has got that old 73-year-old man mentality where it's like, oh, he said poop. That's funny. Like, are you kidding me, man? Like, give me a story I can grip my...
Scooper.
Why does NXT work? It's simple.
H.
Triple H knows. You know what's going to really sell? Having the Undisputed Era wanting every piece of gold and stopping at nothing to get it. That's so simple, right? But it works. It makes me tune in because I actually believe they want to do that. Why wouldn't you, right? If you had a franchise, if you had a whole group, everyone should get gold, right? That you want to own NXT. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense is why this person has an issue with this person simply because he was shaving his friend's back. What the hell do you care?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So it's just, I hope it lights a fire. I don't think it will for a little bit. But I hope it does.
It's going to take a couple big shows by AEW for Vince to wake up and be like, all right, they actually have something.
We deserve more. Simply put, we deserve more. So, yeah, I mean, that's our spiel. We're pissed as wrestling fans. And I'm also super excited. I hope AEW keeps doing fantastic. And I'll be tuning in. The next pay-per-view, I will be getting.
Yeah, WWE, hear that. We always get together because I have the network. Always get together for pay-per-views. Well, guess what? We're all getting together for an AEW pay-per-view.
And you know what? I'm more excited for that. I'm excited for NXT. Like, TakeOver is always going to be amazing. That's probably the only reason I still have a subscription right now. But AEW is getting our money. They've already won us over with one event. So if you don't think, and we're lifers. We've been watching it for 20 plus years, and we've already been like, you know what? Screw it. If you don't respect us, we're not going to give you our time. That should be a sign. We're not alone in this. I guarantee you there's an entire army of people who feel the same way. And if you don't want to hear us, fine. Eventually it's going to start hitting your fat pocketbook, and then you're going to start worrying.
Yep. So and at that point, it's going to be too late.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have all the big stars that you used to have over there. So when you finally realize, uh-oh, I may have made a mistake, and you turn around and you have Hornswoggle...
I mean, keep messing around and you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're just gonna. Triple H could leave. Like, Triple H came out and said he was frustrated with Vince. I would be. Triple H runs the best part of WWE right now, and Vince is sitting there saying no.
Triple H is literally watching the company that he grew up with, the company he loves,
bled for, tore two quads for.
It's going down the drain. I can't imagine. He's just going to walk into Vince's office and be like, yo, you suck. Give me the ring.
Also, you're my stepdad.
Yeah.
Like, that's even another wrinkle.
He can't do it, but I guarantee you he's frustrated.
Yeah. He couldn't not be. I mean, especially because think of the current landscape of the WWE. All of his guys, NXT guys, are the top guys. And he's watching some of them, like the Revival. He said it was the best tag team he'd ever seen.
Yep.
And now their legacy is battling the Usos at barbecues.
Yep.
There's no way Triple H is sitting there going, yeah, this is what I wanted for them.
The War Raiders.
Yes.
Amazing team.
Viking experience.
AOP was amazing in NXT.
It's simple writing, and Vince just doesn't let it happen. Like, how do you mess up somebody as awesome as the Dean Ambrose character? Easy. You literally take his nuts off, and that's what he did. He was just this guy who didn't make any sense, and I don't know. It's sad. It's sad for us fans because we put a lot of time and money into this, and it's now officially a joke. So this is our cry for help, and we're gonna do this every week until there's a change. Until it gets better, our segments are gonna be us shitting on the WWE and praising AEW.
I'm gonna make a Twitter account. Hunter, I'm coming for you.
There you go. It's time, Triple H. It's time to play the game. I don't know how you have to get rid of that old man, but do it. You got to do it, man. You don't got to kill him, but put him in a retirement home or something, because it's time. Hopefully XFL takes him away, but
yeah,
we'll see. So do you have anything else?
I'm good.
Nothing else.
Felt good to be back.
It is so good to be back.
Sorry, that might be a little loud.
Yeah, it might have been loud. But I do have some things we're going to do probably next week. We're going to add a little bit of entertainment. We used to have 2 podcasts. We're going to start combining the 2 a little bit more because people do want to talk, like the Avengers, Endgame, the things like that. So we're going to start doing a little bit of a segment for that, especially to take place of some of the other sports that are going to die, because after the NBA, we'll only have a few snippets, free agent stuff, so we'll have more time. So we're going to be doing that.
So I've been watching a lot of stuff on YouTube, so I'm going to try something. Okay. So, we like to do challenges.
Oh.
We have fun with challenges or funny games. So we have this challenge that was brought up that they want us to do here on Cock and Rock Connection. And that is, it's a contraction machine. It simulates contractions, labor. So everyone wants us to do that. But for us to do that, I want you guys to do me a favor. I want, how many shares? We're gonna make a thing. If you guys can do it, we'll do it.
If we get 20 shares, which means each of you shares it whatever amount of times, and then you have whatever number you need to share it up to 20 times, we'll do it. It's, from what we hear, it's really painful. It's no joke, and we'll do it. If you go above 20, you guys can even start picking how long I have to hold on for, how long he has to hold on for, things like that. We definitely want to start implementing challenges to it. We're excited for it. We want to do it. We want to. The pepper challenges were fantastic. People loved them. They sucked. They were horrible. Oof. But they got views and people liked it and people laughed. So we were willing to do that. So yes, if we can get 20 shares, I don't care how you do it. It's got to be from multiple accounts, obviously. It can't just be you 20 times.
Yeah, you can't share it 20 times.
Yes.
I want 20 shares from 20 different people.
Yes, if that happens, then as soon as next week, we'll try our absolute best to get one. We'll do it next week.
We'll do it in 2 weeks. So we'll find out. Next week, we'll go over how many shares we got. Yeah. If you guys hit that share, then we'll work on getting the machine for the following week.
Yes, but we are willing to do that. Also, we'll start taking ideas for challenges. Like, he's on YouTube. We'll come up with fun things to do, trivia things. We're going to start being more innovative, and
we want you guys involved in this show. It's not just about us. It's about everyone that's out there that watches our show, which we appreciate and thank you
so much.
So we're going to start getting more involved with you guys. So every week we'll come up with a challenge for you guys, and you can come up with a challenge for us.
Yes. So you share our stuff, and we will hypothetically bleed for you. But yeah, 20 shares, 20 different people. If you guys can make that happen, that would be awesome. Even if it doesn't get to 20, every share means something that matters to me. So we can't be more thankful. So we love it. We're glad to be back. We're not going to be going anywhere for a long, long time. So it's good to be back. We'll be back next week, same time. Can't wait. Love it. This is another great podcast. We had a lot of fun with it.
Yes.
And now we got to get to the finals. So go Golden State. And it was good to be back. Thank you all for the love. Remember, 20 shares. And yeah, we will hurt our tummies. We are out. All right. See you, people.